Hello and welcome to the third episode of my E36 M3 suspension overhaul video series. In the first two episodes, I removed both subframe assemblies from the car and disassembled all control arms to get everything ready for powder coat. Additionally, I started the detailing process, beginning with a deep clean of my TC Klein single adjustable coilovers and Vorschlag camber plates. In this episode, I struggle with nitrile gloves yet again, but first, I finally tackle the brakes. I've been looking forward to rebuilding the brakes for a long time leading up to this project, as they were a bit of an eyesore and definitely in need of a refresh. So follow along while I turn vision into reality with a full teardown and OEM plus rebuild. Unfortunately, I didn't get any great footage of the brakes before starting the teardown, so here's a photo of them removed from the car prior to disassembly to show you what we're working with. And with that, let's get started. Yeah, punching your brakes kinda hurts. If I had a bigger shop space, I would absolutely invest in a quality media blasting setup. Unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards for me at that point, so I had to resort to using wire wheels and brushes to strip everything. It did the trick, but this took the better part of an entire day to get all the calipers and carriers cleaned up. It was also about 35 degrees that day. Good times. just put it right there on that piece of wood. Hey, I appreciate it, man. You too. I decided to use G2 caliper paint due to its supposed durability. G2 is a brush-on paint, so I used a dabbing technique with foam brushes to ensure light, even coats without brush marks. Each part received 2 coats, 15 minutes apart.
Look at your little assembly line.
few weeks back, I used G2 caliper paint to repaint all the calipers, and they all turned out pretty great, except for this one. This is the front left brake caliper, driver's side. They all turned out pretty great, but this one had a little paint drip right there on the M logo, of all the places to have a drip. I tried to take a pick tool to hopefully clean it up, and that looks pretty boogery. and it's not good enough. So today we're going to strip this, and I'll order some new G2 caliper paint and we'll give it a shot. And honestly, the G2 paint it's not terrible. It's really not bad. You know, it's a pretty durable finish, but anyway, we're going to knock that out today. So let's get to work. Okay, here is a brake caliper coated in G2, and this is the one that I just stripped. Took me, I don't know, 2 hours total. So initially I stripped it because there was a paint glob right here in the M logo, but I don't know if you can see this. That's actually an imperfection in the casting, and the G2 just kind of accentuated that imperfection, and it looked pretty bad. So I went through the effort of stripping this totally down, but hey, now I know that it's not the paint, that it's actually the casting, so I'll feel a lot better when I redo it. So I guess I'm just going to do G2 again. We'll stick with it, because I think it looks pretty good. It looks pretty durable.
Now that the paint is finally cured, let's add a little protection.
Okay, so this is the first time I've ever applied ceramic coat to anything. It is pretty straightforward. Interestingly, when I applied the C5, it didn't really add any sort of slickness or gloss. I attribute the gloss aspect to be just because these parts are somewhat textured to begin with. When I applied the C2V3, there was a noticeable and substantial increase in slickness, smoothness. Like, this is super slick now, and that's not necessarily a characteristic I'm going for. You know, who really cares? I'm really just looking for repelling brake dust, essentially, having water bead and sheet off of them. The goal is just to make them easier to keep clean. I figured, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Supposedly the C2V3 has about a 6-month lifespan. C5, maybe a year. You know, we'll see. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. As far as the G2 paint, I was really unsure about it. Couldn't really find very many examples of cast calipers with silver G2. You know, honestly, like, at first I wasn't super stoked on them. Like, the color kind of seemed really weird. But after they cured, the gloss sort of died down, and they still have like a metallic, clean metal sort of a look. You know, I think the finish of like an aerosol brake paint was what I was really going for, but given the supposed durability of this product, so far I'm pretty pleased with it. We're gonna let this cure for at least 12 hours. So maybe tomorrow afternoon, if I have time after work, I'm gonna start assembling the calipers, which I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I'm really excited.
For the assembly, I'm using Bimmer World stainless steel pistons, genuine BMW rattle clips, and Ate OEM bleeders, guide pins, bushings, and seals. I had originally purchased Bimmer World brass guide bushings, but ultimately decided to keep it simple and stick with OEM. So now that we have all of our parts laid out on the workbench, let's go ahead and start the assembly. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Seated. Yeah. All right, here we go. Last one. All right, so just to recap, we basically stripped down all the calipers, painted them with G2 silver caliper paint. We replaced everything with Ate OEM parts, Ate guide bushings, Ate guide pins, Ate bleeders, Ate seals throughout, and Bimmer World stainless pistons. We also have our OE genuine BMW rattle clips. I'm going to save the rattle clips for final install. Also a note, I did not torque these or lube these. Again, that's going to happen upon final install.
but I really just wanted to see what it looked like with the carrier mounted there, and it's going to look good. Really excited about how this is turning out.
And there you have it. Dozens of hours of work condensed into 23 minutes. We have plenty of more work to do to wrap up the E36 M3 suspension overhaul, so I'm afraid you're going to have to wait for a future episode to see these brakes mounted on the car. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.